a relationship coach.
Jonathan is a 5, tends to attract very toxic people.
Why?
You won't need dating apps after this one test. This is your Daily Ketchup. Boom. Valentine's Day is just a few weeks away, and because JP is single, we've brought in a relationship coach to help. Cindy Leong from the Relationship Studio. Welcome to the show!
Welcome.
I'm so happy for you, Jon.
Don't count your age for the intervention. So some background about Cindy. She has more than 10 years of experience as a relationship coach and is a big believer in a personality test called Enneagram. In fact, she's one of 8 people in Singapore who is accredited with the International Enneagram Association.
Right. Also, this is the test you asked us to do.
Yes,
You just randomly asked us to do a test. I don't know for
And he
what.
had 180 questions.
Yeah, damn long.
So you thought for a moment it's for job interview lah, but it's not.
It was okay to do during working hours.
So for people who don't know, right, what exactly is an Enneagram test?
So Enneagram is like a personality framework, right, that tells you 9 different ways of thinking, 9 different ways of operating in life, 9 different worldview. That means we see the world differently. Like for example, like kids, right? When you bring them to a new environment, like a new playground, you expect all kids to be excited, right? But no, being thrown into one environment can be interpreted many ways, right? So some will get really excited, some will get anxious. This is how it's different from other profiling tools, right? Because most profiling tools measure your traits. And traits do change. But the Enneagram type is really like the OS. It's like you have your iPhone, right? You have your Android phone. The hardware doesn't change.
Okay.
But you can upgrade the system.
Okay.
So that
But
is
I'm
what
still
we call-
iOS.
Is there a type that is particularly good at love or a type that's particularly bad at love?
No, every type that's higher in their mastery level would be better, obviously, right? Lower mastery levels will be more self-centric.
Sorry, what is mastery level?
So mastery is like the upgrade of the system.
OS again.
Yeah, exactly.
You sure you never study computer science or something?
No, my husband is studying.
I see.
The lower mastery version of my type, okay, being a type 3, right, the achiever. Okay, the low mastery, doing whatever it takes to get to the end goal. So in a corporate world, you can imagine that as the corporate person who climbs the corporate ladder. But there are downsides to that, right? You can keep going and going. After you achieve this, then what's next? After you achieve this, what's next? As we move up the mastery level, we realize that, okay, our trophies, our accolades, our certification, our credentials, all these are important, but it's not the most important after all in life. Maybe it's other things like family, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's the ability to take a break, like not always having to go through that rat race. It's really to free yourself, to see that there's another mode of operating in life.
Okay. So all of us have done the test. Denise and Jared's partners have also done the test. So we're going to kind of use ourselves as examples this episode to figure out how the test applies to us and how we can focus on relationships in particular. Correct, right?
Yeah.
Relationship. Okay, Ken, Jared, please
Relationship.
continue. I don't know where we are.
All right, so starting with Jonathan Paul.
Sure.
Let's find out his type first.
So Jonathan is a 5.
Out of 10.
5 with wing 4.
Okay, but without my specs, am I a 7?
They are the investigator. So with the specs, you are the investigator.
What's going
So
on?
we don't expect you are 3.
Look like, yeah. But the OS is still 5 lah. So cannot change. So 5 is really like the one that needs a lot of personal space to think and process.
Yeah, he always goes to meeting room alone for like hours.
That's for different.
Yeah, so type 5s tend to use their personal space to do 3 things. First category, to think and reflect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So far,
second
so good.
category, to research and read, gather information.
So much.
So when he gets into the cave, he studies a particular subject, he comes out a subject matter expert lah.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
This is so JP.
Yes.
Tell me more about Jon.
Yeah, and then the third thing, they really need that personal space is to recharge.
Okay.
Otherwise, with a lot of people, they will be so drained, especially going to networking and meeting a lot of people that they don't know. Wow, after that, they really need to go back and recharge. Yeah, so maybe you find him going home earlier.
It's called work-life balance.
Yeah.
Okay, so since this whole episode is about love, right? How is a type 5 JP as a lover?
Type 5s are actually very stable people and very predictable people.
No way.
Yeah, in relationships, 5s are just very selective towards who they want to invest their energy on. So when they decide to commit, they will literally be thinking, do I have the resources, the energy, the time to maintain this relationship in the long run?
Can that somehow turn into like commitment issues or fear of commitment?
Yeah, that is a very good point. Yes. So usually 5 is not what we call the active runner. There's active runner and passive runner. The active runner is those that, commitment, getting close already, I escape. But passive runner is the other way around, is I make myself so unavailable. I set my standard so high that nobody can even reach it.
Actually, what's that? You said like type 5 wing for? Like what are the wings?
The wings are basically the types on the left or right of your core type. So you tend to use more traits of this side or the other side to cover the blind spots of your core type. The wing 4 is the traits of type 4, which is the creative, imaginative, the feeling person. Because 5 sounds very unfeeling, right? It's more like logic. Think about things. I need my personal space, right? So where's that creativity, right? So sometimes the spontaneity comes from the 4. So it shows that he tends to use the positive traits of the 4 to make up for the blind spots of the 5.
Yeah, she just wrote my dating profile.
That's
On that topic though, like, is there a type that is compatible with 5s? particularly?
So we can study the patterns of other 5s. They usually claim that they fall in love with this person because there's a intellectual connection. And the interesting thing about 5 is you don't really care what the person does or even the physique, or it's not all these things. So sometimes we were like, how come they are together, right? The looks, they don't look like matching. I'm not even say they are good looking or not good looking, just not matching. But to them, no, it's okay. We connect intellectually. So then the question is, where can you find people with intellectual connection?
Okay.
The library.
The library.
Quora.
Okay, so for single people, what else can I extract from this test that I can use and apply?
It helps you to see your relationship patterns, like your blind spots. Like, the type of people I tend to be attracted to tend to be this certain profile, certain type. Why is that the case?
As it might not be bad lah. It might just be understanding why you're attracted to that type lah.
Or maybe why in the end it still didn't work out all the time. Like for example, certain types, right, they are just more of the savior mentality. So they tend to be always attracted to someone who needs help that they can save.
Hero complex.
Yeah. So
dating profile is you drowning. sorry.
Damn right.
Yeah, so you can see if that is a situation, and that may not be a healthy relationship. Sometimes it may lead to like toxic relationships, right?
Yeah.
If that is always the pattern, then how can we help you get out of that? The next relationship, really you have to ensure that you are not getting into that relationship trying to save that person.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
it's
it's
about...
therapy lah.
You can say
part
that.
of-
I think it's also about communicating with different types. Like if I know you are this type and I'm this type, how can we communicate love to each other? Because sometimes they'll be like, hey, I'm showing you love by being physically with you. But maybe the person wants more than just physically with you.
Whoa, then buy me a beer first lah, is it?
Like buy me a beer or say I love you, like express a bit more, say more. Like for 5 is more like, just sit beside me, no need to talk. It's good enough. Right, no need to talk. But maybe type 7 want to talk. Like ask you questions, then the 5 is like, no, don't ask me question, please. Because that is going to consume my energy. Right, so I just want you to sit beside me. That's love. That's enough.
That's Denise.
Yeah. So
Is it important to know the other person's type as well? And like, how do you find out? Because like we took a 180 question test, but then not everyone you meet and that you like, it's like, hey,
You ask them
Can you
180
do this?
questions.
Oh, you'll be surprised. A lot of our learners, they do get their partners to do it. The new person they're dating to do it.
it's
or send them to the
honest.
class. Let's come for the
Why?
class together. No, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, but it's normal. What? Sometimes I see BuzzFeed quiz tell
Yeah,
you
it's
about
like
your
fun,
what, then you go and find out.
Yeah.
your
What kind of coffee am I, you know?
Yeah. Just find out. Then it becomes a conversation for the next 1 month, you know. Like, yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about how singles can leverage on this, right? To figure themselves out and if they want to get into a relationship and whatnot. Now, we want to see how this helps for people in relationships.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Denise and Jared will now become the examples.
So Jared is a type 9,
Great.
wing 1.
I don't know what it means.
Okay, it's the peacemaker. Because 9s are
Wow.
naturally good at seeing everyone's point of view. However, there's always one person's point of view you fail to see.
Yourself.
We always try to get him to open up but cannot.
No, he's already very open. He's so
damn
open
it.
that he's adopting everybody's point of view. But it's
No,
not.
don't have a self-identity.
I am a mirror.
Shit. Okay.
If the type 9 is not aware, right, the type 9 tends to attract very toxic people. Because they can use you and abuse you in whatever ways, because you will just be going with the flow, ma. So you will
format.
attract people who are not really good for you, lah.
Right.
So people who truly love you will want to know you for you.
So let's find out my wife's type and see whether she's that kind of person.
So the wife is also a 5, but wing 6. So the
different, so different from,
Different wing.
from Jon Paul.
not the
Yeah,
more
the
creative
wing.
5, but it's the more backup plan, contingency plan,
Yes.
kind of, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's still a 5.
So from the start of your relationship all the way until this point, like what are some like bigger challenges that you have kind of like overcome? I'm just trying to see whether it's connected to like their types.
I've talked about this on the podcast before that our marriage sometimes falls into a routine. I think she likes as a 5,
Yeah.
I guess, likes staying at home,
Predictability.
right? And then I kind of mirror that when my 9ness comes out and I try to say like, let's try doing something new. Let's go see this new exhibition or something. And then she'll be okay, okay receptive to it.
But then on the way home, she want to go home.
On the way there, she said like, I'm tired.
No.
Okay.
Then it's like, okay.
There's a tip and trick to, dragging the 5 out of the house. You have to book the time way in advance. Because the 5 need to conserve energy, so
You
they need to
prepare yourself,
prepare,
right?
mentally
Yeah.
prepare to get out. And then you need to give them a lot of information first. Like how about some brochure, some website to read? Really, because they are in their head all the time and they have a need to perceive.
Right.
So they need to know the thing first. Then at least they read out, let's say, okay, you're going to this particular exhibition. Okay, send the link first. Send the background of some of the artists and let the 5 read. So when they get so much information already, they say, hey, actually, why don't we just physically go there? We would learn even more than what you can read from there.
Have I enticed you enough? with
Yeah,
these
so then let's go. Yeah, so why don't we go like 2 weeks later?
Right.
Yeah, then you book a date to go. So that's how with a 5, you need to plan way in advance.
But I'm also curious, like, does knowing my partner's type, in a sense, help me keep them in check? So, for example, if Jared knows that his wife tends to fall into certain patterns,
Yeah.
right? Can he then, in a sense, call her out? Like, not to weaponize it against her,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But help her make sure that, like, the relationship is not getting stagnant, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But again, both parties must be willing. Like she must be open to
Yeah.
want to work this out as well, and to know that and to recognize that this is an issue and there's a better way of living life together.
I'm just thinking in my head that I'm still going the flow. I'm very in my 9. It's fine lah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine for 3 years lah. If it's 30
Hey.
years, you know what I mean? That's when a lot of type 9 in the end it explode instead of implode.
Oh shit! So you're saying type 9s have like a explosion point?
She just started the counter.
There will be. So there will be a volcanic eruption one day, no? So please not get there, yeah.
Okay, good luck with your volcano. So what about Denise?
Denise, okay, so Denise is
She's a 7, right?
7,
Yes.
and then the partner is 5.
What? No,
Is 5 the most common type?
Quite common in Singapore. Majority is 9.
Okay, what is the more emotional side of the type 5 and the type 7? Before I go into my actual question.
You have asked the right question. 5, 6, 7. The base emotion of these 3 types is anxiety. But it just shows up in different ways. Like when 7 have anxiety, you would escape from it and do other things that are more fun. But when 5 is anxious, they will just keep themselves in the cave to process it. So the way both of you deal with anxiety is very different.
Wait, sorry, what is my wing?
7 wing, let's see.
Because I'm super
8.
confrontational.
Yeah, you-
That's the 8. And then I think that confrontation part will scare the 5. Yeah.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked, like, does knowing my partner's type kind of help me navigate perhaps their emotions or how they deal with certain things better? Because the difficult part for me is when I know that the reasoning is correct. Like everything is correct, but I just need to suck and I need to be upset about it.
Yeah.
But then my partner will then feel that, oh no, now they've done something to make me feel upset, and then they react in a very, I mean, sometimes it could be conflicting, like it causes a conflict, or sometimes it's like we both shut down for a while, you know? So I'm just wondering, like, how would the types then help me to navigate our conflicts better?
So actually, like, now you know what is the default mode of a type 5, right?
You're right.
Yeah. So then you need to understand to manage the expectation that she cannot meet that intensity. I mean, it's just hard. It's just difficult. It takes a lot of energy out of them to be this intense.
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes we just have to accept the limitations. And should the person step out of the comfort zone to do something that you expect, wow, that's good effort already. So that's when you learn to also thank them, appreciate them for the effort and then give them the feedback that, hey, I feel more appreciated now that you do this, or now that you tell me this.
That's quite interesting, because this was a conversation that we actually had quite early on in our relationship. That like usually like I'm the one that will ask her out or like ask her to go and do things together, So there was a period of time where I felt like, how come it's like if I don't ask, then nothing happens. Is it like this person just don't like me as much, or is it that how come it feels like I'm the one putting in all the effort? But then she explained to me that, like, to her, right, agreeing to go out or agreeing to spend her energy on this, right, is her putting in the effort. So then I need to like reframe, because I did realize after that I don't mind asking.
It sounds just like a 5. Yeah. The one that already giving you attention already, then that's
already, exactly.
Commitment.
Now we say until like easy, but before that it must have taken so long to process what the hell is going on, right?
And to even figure out how to phrase it.
Because to even say it sounds like a very insecure or feels like a loser to even feel about it, So you don't know how the other person will see you.
Like, I'm curious, as a relationship coach, right? Like, other than this Enneagram, how else do you help
what are the tools?
Your clients?
So basically, we combine Enneagram with coaching, listening to stories people say about themselves, their beliefs about the world, the beliefs about their partner, things like that. We're not there to give you solution. We're there to help you notice certain patterns, and we will ask you the questions to help you reach deep within yourself to find, actually, I don't have to live my life this way.
Are there any particularly common challenges that I guess Singaporeans face when dating?
Yeah, there are.
She said with a sigh.
What are some of them?
Yeah, depending on age group lah. I would say those that are above 30, 35, they are more self-preservation. So their instinct is always about work first, gathering resource first, right? So it's like they cannot believe that they can get married without a job. So that becomes a challenge, because then it becomes very, very late into the game.
But what about the 25 to 35-year-old?
I think there was a research that was done, right? Like a huge percentage of people have not even had first date before by 30. They
In Singapore?
In Singapore.
No way.
It's really, you can just Google this particular article. Yeah. It's true.
Let's go, Jared.
My God. In
It's
the
true,
latest 2021 Marriage and Parenthood survey, half of the singles surveyed said they were not currently dating.
Half?
Yeah.
And among that half, 38% of them had never dated before.
Yeah.
Why? Is this something new since you've been doing this for like 10 years?
It is not something new. Actually, we can see the trend is coming up.
Okay.
As that. Yeah. It's like no need prioritizing work before dating. And people are getting smarter, right? More accessible to various resources. So no longer like for women, it's no longer like, I need to find a man to survive, right? No need. I can be self-sufficient. So when everybody is self-sufficient, dating is like not really a priority.
You just say it's a trend, right? So is it going to constantly like keep increasing, these numbers?
A few of us who are in this industry, we really think that it might be unless there are interventions.
Interesting. So for you, right, like maybe you can share a little bit like what are the joys of being in a relationship or in a marriage? Because I'm really wondering like what there is on the other side.
Companionship. You can trash ideas together. You can just be yourself, and the person can just ya lo. The person will just resonate with you, you know. Or sometimes if I'm not, I'm not always right? So sometimes I'm like, yeah, is it me, huh? Is it? So I just want someone, an objective person, to give me other perspective, right? So this person can be my sounding board as well. Like really the emotional support. And of course, the stability in the family lah. Like someone needs to take care of the family, right? So it's really about different people playing different roles. It's like teamwork to make things happen together.
For the two of you also, right? Like, do you think you all can be single now?
What do you mean can? Like we were single before we got into a relationship.
No, but do you think it's like you are constantly need to be in a relationship kind? Like what do you derive from the relationship or being in a relationship? You know what I mean?
I think it is like what you said, maybe like constantly having a companion that is going to be there, like as a support system, but also as like a iron that sharpens me, you know? Yeah, so I think like having that, how to say, like in K-drama, they always say...
What's a K-drama?
Also never seen before. Later Google.
K-drama.
Yeah, so like in K-drama, they always say it's like having someone on your side.
Yeah,
so that like the person that I know that I can always like in a sense fall back on, but at the same time like build off.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like a real sappy guy here, but like being in love is really like the best feeling like you can have.
How you know you love her and you don't just love being in a relationship?
Wow.
That one is a very big topic by itself.
Because when you know, you just know. No, really? I would say so. I would say like nothing in the world happens by chance. Okay? Like all the relationships you've gone through and all the relationships you have not gone through have all brought you to where you are exactly where you need to be. And I felt that me and my wife, like we both went through our own individual journeys and found each other at the right exact time. Because we met each other through a dating app. And like I always think about this, what if I just didn't open the app that day? What if the algorithm just didn't put you on that day? What if I swipe left? What if she swiped left? All that kind of stuff. It's the very fact that we both like swiped each other that day, you know?
Yeah.
And then struck a conversation and then realized that you both like are so aligned with each other. That cannot be happenstance lah.
When I hear this, right? Okay, so for context, right?
Very deep.
I think maybe some people think that I'm not open to a relationship. And I myself have questioned that before. Because I have been on dates, right? I have met people and all this kind of thing. But then for some reason, like what you're talking about, right? Like, I just haven't felt that extra something, that connection with somebody. And I think that's the only reason why I haven't gotten into a relationship. Yeah. But a lot of the times also, I was begin to question whether I'm just like in some way mentally like cock blocking myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know how to troubleshoot that.
Some people are just fixated on that something. Like this thing must happen in order to know that this person is the right one, right? Sometimes it doesn't happen that way. Yeah, it doesn't happen that exact thing needs to happen. So when you are chasing that very thing, actually you miss the whole big picture.
Right.
Yeah. So
Tunnel vision.
What's the example of a thing?
like some people say, oh, there must be fireworks feeling. There must be that spark. Or that the person must be able to someone even set certain criteria lah. So when you have too many of those things, of course you have the basic criteria in terms of ethics and all that. But when you have too many of those things, then it makes it again almost impossible to find that person.
So you say right now, me and my partner, like at home, right, our viewers, they decide to take the test with their partner and then they find out what type they are.
Yeah.
Like maybe what is like a conversation that they can have together that would be a good like first step.
By the book.
Okay, I'll preview.
Don't tell it. The answer is here. The answer is here.
Yeah, I guess the first thing
Very
they
generous.
can do together is to attend the course together. So it's one of the activity they can do together. No need to pay cash. Use SkillsFuture can already. It's only cash, yeah. So this is one thing they can do together as a couple.
Yeah.
Then the conversation comes in, because with that common knowledge now, then we can talk about it. What are my triggers? What have I done right that make you feel love? And what have I not done right that make you feel like upset or offended or what? So it's a really good conversation. Like, how do you prefer to be treated?
Yeah.
And now you can really show hand and say, see lah, that's why that time I told you, don't give me surprises. Now you understand why? So you have now the common understanding. And then it's not I say or you say, but it's within the class, all the type 5 say so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gang up.
Yeah, correct. That's the best way to do it.
That's like objective, It's really objective. This is really like that. And other people are also feeling the same way.
Before that, all the fives meet at the coffee table. Later, you say this.
No, it's the table, they're just not talking.
Yes, they don't talk. They just sit there and not
Hiding in the toilet. You already know. Not logical.
They will just read. Yeah.
All right, and that's it for today. This episode was brought to you by Hello Love. So big thank you to them, and of course Cindy for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
We hope that today's conversation has given you a better idea of how to navigate love and relationships, and for our single friends out there, opened you up to the idea of it. If you're interested in more dating tips and advice, do check out Hello Love Singapore on Instagram. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Subscribe.
Type 9. He copied dance. He intro also copy.
I wish all couples should just go for marriage preparation courses before they go into a marriage. You know, we always ask, then why y'all got married in the first place? Why y'all got together in the first place? Then they will say, because don't know ma. That time don't know.
That's a terrible reason.
I cannot roll any higher, any further.
I think I found
Just
your
roll your whole
problem.
head.
Yeah, true story, okay?